It all started when my friend's cousin Faisal bought an old house that had been abandoned for years. Out of curiosity, Faisal invited me and two other friends, Donnie and Luffy, to spend the night there. We thought it would be fun, just a little test of courage in an empty house. That night, the four of us sat in the living room, chatting and joking around. Everything felt normal at first until suddenly we heard the sound of running water from the bathroom. It was as if someone was taking a shower. We exchanged glances, trying to convince ourselves that it was just our imagination. But when we checked, the bathroom was empty. No one was inside, and even a stranger, the floor was completely dry, as if it had never been used. A slight uneasiness crept in, but we tried to shake it off. Just as we were settling back down, we heard noises coming from the kitchen, pans clattering, utensils moving, like someone was cooking. This time, with a bit more courage, we rushed to the kitchen. Again, no one was there. The room was silent, untouched. Fear started to take hold of us. The atmosphere grew heavier, and in the end, we decided to sleep together in the living room. In the middle of the night, I woke up and told my friends that I had to go home for a bit. I promised to come back later. They just nodded sleepily, barely responding. Around 2 a.m., there was a knock at the door. Half asleep, Luffy got up to open it. Standing outside was me. Without saying much, I walked inside and went straight back to sleep. The next morning, we all went home as if nothing had happened. A few days later, we gathered at the house again for another sleepover. That was when Luffy suddenly looked at me with a puzzled expression. "Bro, where did you go that night?" he asked. I frowned. "What do you mean?" "You came back here in the middle of the night, right? When I asked, you said you had just come from a bonfire and a party at the market." My heart started pounding. "Luff, I never came back that night. I fell asleep at home." The room fell silent. Faisal and Donnie's eyes widened as they turned to Luffy, whose face had turned pale. If I never returned that night, then who knocked on the door and entered the house? After that, we never spent another night in that house. Eventually, Faisal decided to sell it,